Y'all, today I'm going to talk about the essence of womanhood. We as a culture have bombarded our womanhood. It's been dismantled and it's being redefined. Do you know what the essence of a woman is? I see your faces. You're trying to think, I don't know. I hope she doesn't ask me. I'm not going to raise my hand. There's a lot of rhetoric that's going on. It's going to take our womanhood and our manhood, and it's redefining it. Today's culture wants to refine everything, and the chaos is being felt from the classroom to the boardroom to, yes, even our bedrooms. And some people think it's gone a little too far. I think it has also. I think maybe they're right. One of the things you need to know is that words mean things. Words mean things, and there are consequences for believing the words that you have taken into you. One thing is for sure, no one is confused about the fact that there is a decline in marriages, in mothering, in family, and home. There is a fallout happening, and we as women need to step back and look at our essence of how we are involved in this dismantling. Did you know, you're going to love this, there are 112 genders that you can pick from. Yeah, tilting heads, shocked faces, a couple open mouths. Yeah, and it was 71 last year. So we're redefining and adding. And did you know that your womanhood automatically puts you in a class of victimization? That the very DNA that you have, that runs through your veins, is supposed to be your enemy? This isn't the way God had it. We're at a tipping point. So what is going to be the next defining moment? What is going to be the next thing that's redefined? Well, you know what? It's genderless. You will be genderless. We can't have everybody thinking, oh, I don't like that gender, or I just like the 71, not the 120. Oh, did I say 120? Yeah, because it's probably going to be 120 in 3 weeks. And it all in the essence of being kind and gentle. And we are kind and gentle people. And so we want everyone to be included, especially as women and our nurturing spirits. We don't want anybody to be excluded. But in that essence, we are redefining what God has defined. This is not going to sit well when we start moving forward in our lives. It's a hot topic in our culture, this defining of womanhood and manhood. There's something very interesting I want you. I'm a word girl. My kids, I'm a gadget girl and I'm a word girl. Like I'm nerdy when it comes to gadgets or words. Let me tell you about the word redefine. When something is I'm going to read you straight out of the dictionary. It infers that it's an action done over, often with implications that the outcome of the original action was in some way inadequate. Whoa, does this mean that our culture believes that the origin of our gender was somehow inadequate and not done correctly? Well, yeah, that's exactly what it means when you redefine something. Culture says the only way to be full, happy, and to have a life that matters is to be genderless. And it's happening on your passports. It's happening on things that you fill out. There's different. I mean, y'all know, right? Like, give me some yeses here. We know that I don't have to convince you of this. The sad thing is that as we take this in and we say, yes, let's be genderless, because we don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, especially a woman. We want to influence for kindness and goodness and fairness and inclusion. We start to hate the very thing that makes us a woman. And you can't change that. It's who you are. And so we can't be victims of this genderless move. It's sad, it's confusing to say that your womanhood is a curse. I know there's a lot of debunking and dismantling, and I'm not here today to talk to you about how the very DNA that goes through your veins is going to cause you destruction and victimization, or that the men that you love and the men that you care for are somehow perpetrators and predators. I'm not here to tell you that we should demasculate all men so that there's an even playing field and no one can be a victim, because that's not the world that we live in. We live in a world of sin, and there's going to be sin, and there are going to be men that don't do things right. And you know what? There's a lot of women that don't do things right because we were born into sin. But that doesn't mean we should be redefining what God said was good. I'm here to help you restore the value, your idea to your womanhood, to call out the wonder of how God himself created you, to shine an essence on your womanhood, and to shine a light and give you a hope and some track to run in. Did I say God created you in his image? Did you know that? The Bible tells us in the book of Genesis that God created mankind, two kinds of man, male and female. And he created them equally loved, equally valued, equally gifted with gifts and talents to work through their gender to the world around them. God created it that way. God did. It's a wonder. And they're created in his image so that through our gifts and our talents and our callings, we bring those through our gender and we produce the image of God to the world around us. And they get to know him. And they get to know him through your womanhood. But if you don't have your womanhood, something's missing. If we have the distinctive privilege of showing God to the world, shouldn't we take that really, really importantly? Here's an example. Because there's so much redefining, we literally have to say, what does that look like? What does it look like to be soft strength to the world if you're a man? What does it look like to be soft strength as a woman to the world you're in? Because we're equally made, but through our gender, we see things differently. Here's an example. Men have outer strength and an inner softness. Women have an outer softness and they have an inner strength. You know this is true. And because of that, it's wonderful and it's beautiful. And God made it this way. And the world gets to see the strength and the softness. And the softness of a woman that is strong, like a magnolia. You know a magnolia blossom? Okay, I'm from the South, we admit it. Magnolias, they're like white and they're tough, right? Like those leaves are tough, but they're white, but they have the image of softness. And the fragrance is undeniable. And I want to tell you something else about that magnolia flower. Girl, that magnolia flower, it grows on the biggest tree. Y'all seen our magnolia trees? It grows so tall, stretching up the sky. The leaves are strong. You can't hardly kill a magnolia tree. But those blossoms, they don't fade away just when the rain comes. They don't melt. They're not snowflakes. They're strong in the essence of who they are, in the very foundation of what that flower is, in the fragrance, people around them. When you walk by a magnolia tree, girl, you know you walk by a magnolia tree. Be a magnolia. Be soft strength. Be it. Be the fragrance of God to the people around you. I love to study this stuff. I've been studying biblical womanhood, authentic womanhood for over 20 years. And I relish it. I can't get enough, but I digress. Back to my topic, because you want to know what the essence of the woman is, don't you? It could be many things. It could be that femininity. It could be the softness. But girl, I'm telling you, it's the essence. The essence of a woman is her influence. I know you're not going to disagree. A woman's ability to influence is her secret strength. And it is not discussed a lot, but friend, the fruit of it is obvious. God created woman to influence for good, to complement man in ways that he's different. Not better, different. You're not better either. all the yelling and screaming about we're this and and I'm like that. Well, girl, you're not any better than him. Like, we're all fallen. We all are sinners. We all make mistakes. Don't you know that we are put on this earth to be together to complement God's beautiful creation? In Genesis, that's what he did in Genesis. He could have done anything to describe us, our intelligence, our love, the wisdom that he was going to give us. He could have given us anything to describe who we are, made in his image. And you know what he picked? The very thing we're trying to redefine and get rid of. Male and female. He picked that. Read your Bible. Genesis 1:27. Like it was the thing he used to describe the essence of who we are. Because it was going to be the influence. It was going to be the avenue and the track that he was going to be able to show the world who he was through to the people around him. God created man in his own image, Genesis 1:27 and 28. He created him in his own image. The image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. That's pretty clear. God blessed them, and he said to them, he didn't just say to man, he didn't just tell woman, you're gonna like go through labor. He didn't just say that. He said, God blessed them, and he said to them, this is your charge. This is you and your man's charge. This is your son's charge and your daughter's charge. And when they find someone, they get together and they become one, it's their charge. To be fruitful and increase in number. Thank you, Kim. You've had 8. We appreciate you. Mom. To fill the earth and subdue it. Let me tell you something. There's a story of Esther. I'm going to tell you a story. Esther is a great story. It's found in the Bible. And it is a story of a queen. And she was a woman of great influence. But in that story, there's another woman that I just recently saw. And I'm like, whoa, how did I miss that? The evil villain in the story, which you're going to read when you go home tonight, her name is Zeresh. And she was Haman's wife, right? I didn't see that before. I'm like, whoa, she is a little not so good. Haman hated Esther, Queen Esther, his uncles, and he hated the Jews, and he was going to have them all like annihilated. Well, let me tell you something. Esther did something about it. She got together and she asked her people to pray because the king didn't know she was indeed a Jew too. Now, as the story goes, it turned out really well because Queen Esther used her influence for good and she went through the proper channels. But that Zeresh, she talked her husband into building a gallows and killing Mordecai. But they got the gallows made, but they didn't get Mordecai on him because God intervened. Because God always intervenes for good. In the end, Haman was hung on the gallows. The very thing that she influenced her husband for brought death and destruction to her family and to her husband. But Esther, she brought life and legacy. She not only saved her people, girl, she saved herself. And her husband loved her all the more for it. You are going to influence for good or for evil. And you know what? You get to decide. How will you influence your family? What kind of culture will you have in your home? I call it the culture of home because that's where it starts. Everybody's so mad about the culture. I mean, I kind of get it. I kind of go on and on about the culture. Definitely. When I wrote The Unstoppable Generation, Are We the Ones We Were Waiting For? It was because I realized, I think I'm the one that I'm waiting for. I'm the one that I'm like, who's going to fix this? Like, somebody needs to stand up and do something. Like, I'm tired of this stuff in my kids' school. Like, I don't like all this and that. And then I realized, I'm the one I've been waiting for. Sounds really profound, but so wasn't. And you know what? The combination of you and God and being unstoppable makes you unstoppable. Your very essence, your influence makes you unstoppable. Pray, get with other women, get with your own man. Like, we're not I am woman, hear me roar. Like, we are human beings, mankind, male and female, two kinds of mankind, and we can do this together. Here's a few examples of the dismantling. Motherhood, not desirable. It's for the lazy. It's a burden. It's a problem. It's not really necessary. It's a duty, not a delight. Hire a nanny. Anyone can change a diaper. Hey, in that marriage, that's just a piece of paper. Who needs the bother of commitment? Just hook up and shack up. And family? Well, it's cute for a season. But the major stresses on your finances and your personal career goals, keep that family small, if at all. And best, you should probably get a dog. Home, it's a place to freshen up at night and to pray and to prepare for the real work that you go out and do, that the kids go out and do their education, and then I go out. And this is just like a hotel where we just come in and, hey, how are you? And how's your day? It's not the foundation. It's not the core that God created it to be. It doesn't mean that that stuff outside isn't important. Oh my goodness, it's so important because your influence must go out. But this must be paid attention to. This is your sphere of influence. This is the culture of your home. It's time for women of influence to stand up and stand up to the enemy, stand up to the chaos, and take a hold of what God has entrusted to you in your home, in your community, in your marriage, in your family, in your kids' schools. We have to do that, we have to know a few things. We have to know the truth of God. You've got to know God's word. That's why we have the academy. That's why we have the Moms Like Us Academy, to help you learn all these things and the word of God. We must not allow the culture to teach or train our children. It's our privilege to do so. That doesn't mean you don't put them in public school, but pay attention to what they're doing. Friends, we are women. We are not victims of ourselves or the enemy. This enemy that would try to destroy our homes, our family, our marriages, and our country. We are women who were created for greatness, and we have the strength of that magnolia tree. And we can use the beautiful inner strength of a woman to influence our world for good. If you're like me, you've had enough. The enemy is not taking my marriage, he's not taking my kids, and he is not taking my home. He will not run rampant over the sphere of my influence, and he will not ruin my community. I will stand up. I'm as tall as that magnolia tree. And I want to tell you something. The strength of that flower and the fragrance is going to be seen. So I ask you today, what will the culture of your home look like? What will the culture of your marriage look like? Are you cultivating in there with your influence and your soft strength? Are you doing it for good and legacy? Or will there be evil and destruction? What is your destiny? Friends, I'm calling you today. The essence of your womanhood. It's so beautiful. It's soft strength with a fragrance that only can be found in your womanhood. Relish it. Hold on to it. Learn about it because it's the very essence of the image of God. You have a voice. You have a choice because you, my friend, you, my beautiful friends, are women of influence. Thank you.